Could I begin, as a member from a Northern Ireland constituency, by placing on record the heartfelt thanks of the people of Northern Ireland for the service of our military within Northern Ireland during our darkest days, those who stood between us and the horrendous terrorist threat that we faced. And of course I include and associate myself with the remarks of the Honourable Member for Southampton. I include the gallant local security services of the UDR and the RIR. And we all in this House, who day and daily exercise freedoms, need to be mindful that when those freedoms were under the most horrendous terrorist attack, it was our security forces which stood between us and the destruction of all those freedoms. And to many who paid the ultimate sacrifice, I think we want to remember their service and their sacrifice today. Madam Chair, the route to prosecution of our security services is now through the inquest process. It is the inquest process which is poisoning the well of justice in Northern Ireland. Because remember this, an inquest, as has been said, is supposed to be about who died, where they died, and how they died. But we have allowed, or government has allowed, inquests in Northern Ireland become unfettered in their overreach, as illustrated most dramatically in the Canoe inquest, where every outcome was explored to the point where the judge presiding over that inquest reached wholly prejudicial findings, which then resulted in him saying, I am now referring this to the PPS. Now remember this, Madam Chair. Inquests operate on the standard of the balance of probabilities. That's how you reach a verdict in an inquest. But in a criminal prosecution, you reach a verdict by proving beyond all reasonable doubt. Yep. And yet we have had a situation where 4 soldiers, SAS soldiers, who according to the presiding judge were meant to say to 9 approaching fully armed IRA men with a huge machine gun on the back of their body, were supposed to step forward and say, hands up, please surrender. That's what, according to the coroner, that's what they were supposed to do. Even though those IRA men had just shot up a police station and had returned celebrating their actions by firing over the house of a deceased terrorist who had been one of their own. And then they arrive in a car park, and the coroner, in the most outrageous overreach, says they were ambushed by the SAS. And the soldiers should have said, hands up, please surrender. With no regard to the fact that facing 9 fully armed terrorists, you have to make a split-second decision. And here's the point I'm coming to. In England, that could not have happened. Because under the inquest rules in England, when a coroner reaches the view that there may have been some unlawful activity, he must stop the inquest and refer the matter to the PPS. That's the right way to go, because it's for the PPS, not the coroner, to cover the matter. It's for the PPS to decide the approach. And that is what the Secretary of State needs to do in Northern Ireland. He needs to bring into effect the same rules that govern inquests in Northern Ireland as do in England, so that if there is an allegation of illegality or it occurs to the coroner there might be, he stops the inquest. He sends it to the PPS rather than covering and giving an outlandish ruling which then creates the public perception that there is huge criminality here. That's the lawful and proper way to go. And I must say I regret the fact that when a few weeks ago I wrote to the Secretary of State pointing that out, I got the limp response, well, really, it's a matter for the Justice Department in Northern Ireland. No, this government is said to be tackling legacy issues. And if this government is going to tackle legacy issues, then it needs to tackle and to stem, by tackling inquests, that root which is now producing the potential prosecution of some of the bravest of our citizens.